What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Seamus. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for tuning in, and welcome to tonight's album review. This time, we tackle the ninth studio album by Canadian post-hardcore veterans Silverstein. This one is called A Beautiful Place to Drown. It's been a long time coming for this album. They've been teasing us with singles for a while, but now we're finally here with the full proper album, and I've been anxiously awaiting it because I fucking loved their last album, Dead Reflection. I actually got it at Warped Tour 4 days before the official release. I saw them on Warped the following year, and whenever that album did come out in July 2017, it was definitely at a very somber and important time in my life. I had just gone through a bad breakup, and that album had saw me through it. It was occupied with some of the most frenetic bangers that this band had ever done, with great tracks like Retrograde, painting this picture of a very well retrograde and crestfallen worldview, and tracks like Whiplash and Mirror Box and Ghost followed suit. And then even the Afterglow saw them delve into pop punk, almost overtly pop territory and flirtations, and they did it to perfection. So with this new album, A Beautiful Place to Drown, the question going in was, could the band top its predecessor? Could the album top Dead Reflection? And buckle up, because it's kind of a letdown, to be honest. If you thought any vestiges of popular sensibilities were in the rear view and that they'd gotten it out of the way with songs like The Afterglow, which has become one of their most streamed songs in recent times, if you thought that was the case, that any vestiges of that were gone, you're sadly mistaken. This album finds the band kind of watered down at times, trying to capitalize on where The Afterglow took them and where it took their sound. It works at times, of course. Opening cut Bad Habits it absolutely slaps. It's fucking awesome. Even if it mimics both the sound and the melody of The Afterglow. I actually thought I was listening to The Afterglow a couple times. And they make up for it, though, trading the occasional breakdown, which would have sufficed anyway, with a great guitar solo towards the end. Hashtag Silvertooth lives, as Beartooth's Caleb Shomo makes a guest appearance on Burn It Down, and he unfortunately doesn't add much. Silverstein frontman Shane Told is a great singer, and this song would honestly suffice just fine without Caleb Shomo. And Where Are You is a waste of Shane's vocals. I mean, when he's not battling the disjointed tempo, he's battling synths and electronic bells and whistles, and I give the rest of the band a pass. They seem to do the best they can with the production and the composition in front of them, but it's just a mess at times. Infinite marries the poppier overtones a bit more earnestly, even as it squabbles into some questionable falsetto singing from Shane. The song is largely occupied with a nice little serving of vintage Silverstein. Not too much screaming at all throughout either that song, this album, that song, or this album as a whole. There isn't a whole lot of screaming, but you can make do with it. Shapeshift honestly lacks the energy that it needs to buoy this upcoming middle section of the album, as we're getting into it. Coming up, like, this song is placed towards the middle section of the album, and the energy it needs to kind of bridge that across is like it's just not there. The energy and the inertia is not there, and Shane is once again saddled with a nominally uninspired composition, as more overtly pop tendencies are coming up to the forefront here. But that's where madness swoops in just in the nick of time. There's finally some crunch and spank in the instrumentals, and the middle and chorus can be forgiven with the earnest execution. And lyrically, it's Silverstein right in their wheelhouse. They know the lane, and they see the lane that they've had lyrically, and they work again within their wheelhouse, as Shane proclaims, "This isn't love, this is madness." I like that. Say Yes is irresistibly earwormy. Not necessarily the clever and creative kind of hook this band would have created a few projects back, but it's definitely, I mean, it's a well-produced pop rock jam, and it finds its niche in that regard. And had this song come out in the early 2000s, and had the band originated in this kind of music and these kinds of stylings in the early 2000s, I bet it would have been a huge radio hit. And I mean, they could have been one of the biggest bands to emerge from like the TRL VH1 era. So that song actually won a few replay spins from me. September 14th follows suit, but it plays more like it sounds like Hot Topic background noise. And again, I'm not trying to pigeonhole Silverstein as like a band that you'd only hear like by their merch at Hot Topic or whatever, because their music is a lot better and a lot more mature than some of that garbage. But I feel like I would walk into Hot Topic and hear the song in the background, and it was just like it would just go in one ear out the other. And despite the welcome heaviness towards the song's bridge, the first 2 minutes bored me to death, and it needed that heavier inertia towards the song's end to wake me back up. um, so, I mean, it's still a solid song, though, and Shane does sound best when he's not smothered in the choppy production and the more gimmicky pop sensibilities. Coming Down shows that even during a lackluster album, lackluster by their standards, this band can still write a good hook. And Shane confesses, "I forgot what it feels like to be all right," and I really like that lyric as well. And then "Take What You Give" closes the album in probably a really emblematic way. I feel like it's emblematic of the album as a whole because it closes things out on the most underwhelming note possible. Simply and honestly put, this one bored the shit out of me. So with that, A Beautiful Place to Drown draws to a close. So overall, this is far from a terrible album. Probably the weakest Silverstein album, again, going by their standards and when stacked up against their past discography, especially Dead Reflection. But they mostly succeed in this new territory. At best, it's a more accessible and digestible, if not heavier and less organic take on the Silverstein sound. And Shane Told, as a vocalist, has always had more contemporary leanings in his singing voice. I felt like he probably could have done popular compositions like this very well for a long time. Nonetheless, a lot of these songs play like woulda, coulda, shoulda been, big radio hits. Perhaps they had done this kind of thing from the off and had any kind of industry backing. Let's be glad that they didn't. I'm very glad that they were on Rise Records or wherever they were for the longest time because I am definitely glad that this band was not the product of some record executives. These guys are great. They're generally very good, an outstanding band. But a lot of these could have exploded back in the day. Still, they perform it well enough, work with what they're given, and serve as the fans' perennial red meat. Say Yes and Bad Habits are two songs I'm definitely going to revisit. And I'm going to give this album a 3.5 out of 5. So let me know in the comments what you think. If you like this review, smack the like button. Be sure to leave a comment, subscribe. Hit the bell to get notified when I upload a new video. Until next time, my name is Seamus. Thank you for tuning in. See you soon.